We're up and at 'em early this morning on top of our game. I got an 8 o'clock appointment, but she told me this. I have a eight. I have a 8:30 appointment, but she had me schedule her for 8 o'clock so she would be on time. So it's actually 8:10 right now. I'm on the way to drop off my beautiful daughter, and I just dropped off my handsome son. And it came across my mind as I drove past a specific beauty school that I used to work at, why I do not desire to work in corporate America. I took a break, not necessarily a break, but I worked part-time at a specific school that's really what I thought a good and established corporation. But I think that my experience was just with a little small segment of, I'm not going to say anything negative about anybody. I'm just going to say that I had a bad experience. I gave it my all. I worked really hard for about, I think it was about a year. And then I attempted to put in my 2 weeks notice. I enjoyed working with the students. While I was there, I noticed that I was oftentimes the teacher that, along with a few other teachers, that would go over and beyond to create games and make it fun for the students to try to lighten up the atmosphere, because beauty school atmosphere can be something quite daunting. It can be something else. It could be something stressful if you get into the beauty school and start being more concerned about making friends. You get into the beauty school and you start getting wrapped up in all the mean girl stuff, right? You start clicking up, you know. I've never been a clicker. I've never been a person that gets with a group of people. I got, my main group of homegirls back home that I've been kicking it with since high school. But outside of that, I've never been one to go into any environments and just click up with a specific group of people and make that my main hangout people. I usually find one or two cool people and then that be my folks. But maybe that's clicking. Either way it go, do what you're comfortable with. But when you get in beauty schools, pick and choose wisely, right? So I told the people there after about a year, hey, I'm gonna need to take I'm gonna have to let the position go because my husband at the time was starting his security job, and I was telling them that I needed to let the position go. So I want to give you guys a 2 weeks notice. Let me speak to your, like their executive director, the assistant director, or whatever she is. I'm not going to say no names because that's not the point of the story. If they watch it, they know who they are. Anyways, I told them I needed to put in a 2 weeks notice, and I kept being avoided, right? Kept being avoided. I could never get anybody in the office because I did the PM classes. And yeah, I'm gonna have to take a second, y'all. I'm not gonna start this live over. Y'all just gonna be watching in my car for just a few minutes while I take this little girl inside. Got her little lunchbox. We'll be right back. I'm not gonna start this over. If it's a recording, fast forward. Okay, Stink. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. Okay, let's go bye-bye. I'll be back. Y'all, I gotta get some Pampers. Baby, I wish that we could make it better. I've been jamming to that Cheers to You by Player. Took it back old school. Alright, so back to my story, right? I went in and I told them, hey, I need to put in my 2 weeks notice. Let me talk to the executive. Let me let her know so we can transition the class out properly. I'm all worried about making sure that the students are cared for properly so that the transition doesn't hurt their educational experience. I'm going through this every other day. I'm coming in trying to get, in touch with these people, and I can't get in contact with anybody. So I'm like, screw it. I'll keep working until I can get in contact with somebody. Lo and behold, after doing a great job for a year, after giving my all, stressing myself out, writing out lesson plans in between clients and so on and so forth, and what I wanted to do was talk to them about possibly finding a way to switch the schedule so I could still be a substitute teacher and still come in and help and blah, 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 blah. I come into my classroom one day and there's a completely different teacher there. No warning, no notice, no respect, no dignity, no integrity, not one damn care about my feelings or the students or that teacher, because they set her up by failure by just throwing her into a classroom. And not to be funny, but she was less experienced than me. But the only difference is she was a wonderful woman and I was a beautiful woman. Now, I'm not always trying to make it a black and white thing, a beautiful, wonderful thing. I'm definitely not about that. But the proof was in the pudding, okay? And these heifers had slapped me in the face with the Jell-O pudding, okay? And my feelings were so hurt. My pride was stabbed and deflated quite a bit. And it was an embarrassment, but I held my head high and I stood in there for the transition while the actual, president or leader over the school proceeds to make time to come in, introduce the new teacher, and then, poke at me by saying out loud in front of the class, this is somebody that can commit to you guys full time and give you their 100% attention. I was broken from that experience, and it also reminded me why I own my own business in America and why I prefer not to work for other people in America. Now, sometimes I want to go back in there and I'm like, I can get the benefits, because as an independent hairstylist, you don't have benefits and stuff, but I can go and I can get the health benefits of that corporation and the 401ks and the SEP IRAs and the all of this and the all of that come along the perks of working corporately. However, I have always felt like that's a ball and chain, especially after I experienced the freedom of working in the hair industry and having the flexibility to manage my schedule how I like, have vacations when I feel like it. My get up and go, my hustle and bustle determines how much money I make. Right now, everybody's not a self-starter like that. Some people need a job. Some people need someone to tell them you need to be to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. This is your break. You can't have any days off, blah, 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 because for the most part, most people are not wired to be responsible enough to push themselves to make money and to stay on track with a schedule and so on and so forth. So that is my story today of why I no longer desire to work in corporate America. I tried it out and I was disrespected and I didn't like it. I went back in their office about a week or so later to properly put in my resignation, get my license, and do everything the correct way, because maybe I want to work at a different, I won't say the name, maybe I want to work at a different version of that school, because they have them all over the country, right? So maybe I want to work at a different branch of that school in the future, and I'm like, I'm not going to burn any bridges. Now, what I later on found out was that I could have fought that through human resources and had all of these other meetings and stuff set up. I didn't want to do that. I had a whole hair salon business to run, a whole clientele to take care of that I was juggling while I was part-time teaching there. And so when I went back to do the closeout interview that I scheduled that they had no desire to do, I cried like a punk. But it was good that they saw my feelings, and for whatever reason it happened that way, and they didn't care more or less. They pretended like they did, but they did not. And so since then, I've been invited back to the school for their career fairs and things like that, which tells me that either those same two girls aren't in charge or they make sure to stay out of my way because they know that they were some dirty, rotten scumbags the way that they handled that situation. So that's why I choose not to work in corporate America. I went and I taught a class yesterday at another beauty school, and when I'm in the school, it is just, the vibe is prison camp vibes. The students are not excited. You can tell they have little to no respect for their teachers because it bleeds into my teachings and how they pay attention and things like that. Because when I come in the room, I'm commanding attention. Like, I'm commanding attention because whatever you're doing is getting disrupted because I'm teaching and I am the center point of the room right now, But anyways, that was my story. A video about beauty schools and I guess what I call a prison camp vibe. It's like the students are there, but they don't really want to be there. And it's like, if you don't want to be here, why are you here? I don't understand that. I don't, in school, a voluntary school situation where you can choose any other career that you want to be in. Why are you there if you hate it, if you're not excited? It could have been the end of the day. They were waiting on their break or whatever. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So that's why I don't work in corporate America, because of the beautiful, wonderful thing, the lack of communication and respect for the people that work up under you. But what I do is teach classes. And I don't have any scheduled right now, but stay tuned because coming up soon within the next month, I am going to be doing an online course. Now, I'm not sure what the online course is going to be, but I'm going to promote it correctly this time because oftentimes I'll promote a class and it'll be a hit or miss type of situation because my marketing and advertising, I won't make the time to properly do it. So anyways, my next video is going to be what that class is going to be. So come back, check it out. It'll have all the directions about how to log in. It'll probably be something about hair and beauty business and or locks or maybe even weaves, even though I don't do a lot of weaves. I know how to do them, and I can teach that class. So y'all have a beautiful day, and it's time for me to get back to it. How do I end this thing? I will be there.